What if achieving everything you've ever wanted in your life all came down to shifting your mindset? This is what we believe at the Mindset Flex podcast. Buckle up and get ready to expand your mind and get uncomfortable. Welcome to this episode. This is your host, Elise, and today we're talking about how to harness the superpower of your reticular activating system to get what you want out of life. So, to get started, I want to give you a little bit of an explanation of your reticular activating system. We're sensory animals, and at any one time, we're being bombarded with over 14 million bits of information. Even sitting in an empty room or you sitting in your car driving right now, your brain would be overloaded with data if there wasn't some way of filtering it. For example, would the color of the interior of your car matter if suddenly the temperature of your car dropped below freezing? No. So basically, your reticular activating system is a collection of nerves in your brainstem that filters out unnecessary information, so the essential stuff makes it through. Well, why does this matter? So get this, your reticular activating system takes what you concentrate on, what you think about, what you focus on, what you notice, and develops a filter for it. So basically, this filter only gives you the things that are essential to you. And all of this happens without you noticing it. So the reticular activating system programs itself to work in your favor without you doing really anything. There's more. Your reticular activating system also validates your beliefs, and I think this is pretty scary because what if you believe the wrong things? Let me give you an example. If you believe that you're just big boned and you're never going to lose weight, yeah, that will probably be true. If you believe that you are weak at giving speeches and presentations, you probably will be. If you feel that you work efficiently, you probably do. Your reticular activating system helps you see what you would like to see. And in doing this, it influences your actions. This is extremely powerful. I'm sure you've heard the word manifestation, and a lot of people think that it's some voodoo weird word. But once you understand how your reticular activating system works, you actually will understand how manifestation works. Because if you train your reticular activating system and your subconscious mind to focus on certain things, then those are the things that you attract in your life. If you love positivity, for instance, you will become more aware of and look for positivity. Okay, do you know those people that have just constantly bad things happening to them? Like, when you call them up, they're going to complain and they're going to tell you about the next terrible thing that happened to them. And you're like, man, how come this person always has bad things happening to them? You're like, I don't get it. Or maybe you do get it. Maybe this is something that you also have experienced in your life. And what ends up happening is that the more negative things that you focus on, the more pessimism and problems that you invite into your life. What you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on the problems that are happening in your life and the negativity and the sadness and the victim mindset, then those are the things that you're going to invite into your life. If you want great things to happen to you, you have to focus on them. You focus on the great, and they will come to you because your brain is going to be seeking them out. It's not magic. It's just your reticular activating system affecting the world you observe around you. Have you ever heard the saying, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change? That's because we literally train our brains on how to observe the world around us. So this is something that I have been practicing. This is something that I believe in. And this is the thing that actually have gotten me to where I am in life. And as much as I want to give you these good examples and dig into them, I want to give you the example of my failure at this. And that's going to start with the beginning of 2021. So I mentioned a couple times that my marriage basically fell apart this year. And obviously, it took time to get to that point. It didn't happen overnight. If I'm being honest, we kept putting our marriage on the back burner and not making us a priority. And that resulted in things falling apart. And earlier this year, as things were getting really, really bad, my focus was, I don't want to lose my marriage. I don't want things to fall apart. I don't want things to get worse. And guess what happened? Do you think things got better? Heck no. Things kept getting worse and worse. I remember literally writing in my prayer journal every single day and begging God to fix things and get things turned around. But then Once I was done writing, I would spend the rest of my day focusing on all the things that were bad, all the things that were not working in our marriage, all the things that I did not want. And guess what? I was training my subconscious mind, my reticular activating system to do, literally to look out for the bad, look out for the things that I did not like. Guess where this sent our marriage? Downward spiral, on a separation, Earhart moving out. We literally lived separately. I haven't even shared this. It was a very dark time. And in the midst of this darkness, like 2 months into it, I had this awakening moment of, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? This isn't even me. As in, me trying to fix the situation was me focusing on all the things that didn't work. But that clearly was not making things better. And yeah, I get how hard it is to try to focus on the good when everything is falling apart. Trust me, I am the person who gets it. I was there this year. I lost everything. Literally, I lost 90% of my life. And it was extremely dark. And as I was sinking into the darkness and focusing on all the things that were wrong in my life, all the things that were wrong in my marriage, I stopped listening to podcasts, audiobooks. I didn't even have the motivation to do any of that. I was just so down and so depressed. I started just only listening to music, sleeping a lot, working out. Honestly, my daughter was the only thing that was giving me life, and skiing. And I had this wake up moment. Like, I can't tell you what happened. I just remembered what I was supposed to be doing. And I woke up this one morning and I started writing in my journal. And I was like, okay, things aren't getting better. Things are getting worse and worse. I need to change something, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Like, things don't just get better by us not changing anything. And I wanted things to get better. I did not want to stay in the downward spiral of my depressing freaking life. So I kid you not, as I'm writing in my journal, I just wrote, all right, Elise, what has helped in the past? Self-development. Okay, focus on self-development. Starting tomorrow, you're not going to listen to music anymore. You're going to listen to podcasts and you're going to listen to audiobooks. That's the only thing you're allowed to do. That was like the first change I made. And as I started to put positive things in my mind, guess what started to happen? My mind started to focus on positive things. Guys, this is so serious. Like, this is not to be taken lightly. This changed my life around. And I can't believe I waited 3 months to do this. Like, I mean, I don't know if you've heard this, but suffering is a choice. So pain is inevitable. We're going to have pain in our lives, but suffering is a choice. Like, we are the ones that choose to stay in our suffering. And I chose for 3 months to stay in my suffering. And I kid you not, the moment that I made the commitment to start focusing on self-development, like developing myself and getting better, I started to focus on the good. I started to focus on what I wanted. And I made this commitment, and I kept writing it down in my journal, of only focusing on what I wanted, because focusing on what I did not want, even though I didn't want it, that's what I kept putting in my brain. When I repeated to myself on a daily basis that I did not want my marriage to get worse, I did not want my marriage to end, that is the direction that it was heading in. It just kept getting worse. And at one point, it actually ended. Like, when we went on our separation, we literally decided to end things for that time and literally separate. And that's because both of us were focusing on what we didn't want. I am totally serious about this. And the moment I made the commitment to focus on what I wanted, everything turned around and it started to go in the direction of what I wanted. It was really hard because every morning I woke up and the first thought wasn't what I wanted. The first thought was what I didn't want, because that's what I trained my mind to do. So if you're in a place in your life where you are run by fear right now and you're focusing on all the things that you're afraid of, all the things that you don't want, I just want you to know that's exactly what you're going to attract in your life. That's exactly what's going to happen to you, because that's what you're focusing on. And as you're focusing on all those things, your brain is literally coming up with answers. It's the same thing as if you ask your brain, why can I not lose weight? Guess what? Your brain is going to come up with answers on why you cannot lose weight. And it's going to validate your feelings. It's going to validate your thoughts. It's going to validate your emotions. Your reticular activating system is so powerful, and you train it to filter whatever you focus on. So as I started focusing on what I wanted, my marriage to get better, getting back together with Erhard, having meaningful friendships, my business blowing up, starting a podcast, winning a competition, all of those things actually came true. All of those things. And I just stopped focusing on all the negative bullcrap that was going on in my life. And it was very dark. I legit ugly cried at least once a day. And to get out of that, like to pull yourself out of that is the hardest thing, because we tend to wait on someone else to come and rescue us. Like things are going to shit in our lives and we're just waiting on something or someone to come and fix it and make it better. And the thing is, it's not going to get better unless we change something. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Nobody's coming to rescue you. And you should never, ever, ever rely on anyone coming, because what if you fall into a dark place and nobody comes? Then you just stay in it forever? No. You have to get yourself out of it. And all you do is you train your reticular activating system to start focusing on different things. And to go back to my marriage example, me and Erhard both made the commitment to focus on what we wanted. And to this day, this is what we're doing on a daily basis. Our marriage is not perfect, and we're literally still working on so many things. But the biggest thing that helped us get back together and make things just so much more bearable, where we can actually work on them and have hope and have light at the end of the tunnel, was both of us committing to only focusing on what we wanted. And focusing on that, we literally manifested the good out of each other and out of our marriage. If I wake up in the morning and I'm focusing on, oh my gosh, Erhard is not this, he's not that, our marriage is crap, what kind of mood do you think I'm going to be in? How do you think I'm going to respond to him if he asks me a question? It ain't going to be pretty. I'm probably going to resent him. I'm probably going to hold on to some anger. I'm probably going to have negative thoughts come into my head about him. And guess what? He's going to sense all of that. And his response is literally going to be the same. But if I wake up in the morning and I make a decision, all right, Elise, you're only going to focus on what you want. And you're only going to focus on the positive, the good, because that's what you want in your life. And I think about all the things I love about Erhard. I think about why I want to be with him. I think about why I chose him. I think about the happy memories I want to share with him in the future. Not the memories we didn't share, not the memories I don't want to share, but the memories I want. Now, if these things are in my head and he asks me a question, how do you think I'm going to respond? With a smile on my face, with an open heart, an open mind, and he's going to respond back the same way. This is exactly what you do if you start a business. You can't start a business and start thinking about what you don't want. I don't want to fail. I don't want my friends and family to make fun of me. I don't want to lose money on this. If you're focusing on all the things that you are afraid of and you don't want, that's what you're going to end up getting. That is exactly what you're going to attract into your life. Okay, so how to actually get what you want? Well, first you have to get really, really, really clear about what you want. That's step one. If you don't know what you want, you have to sit down and you have to figure that out. That was a huge roadblock for me, because when I was in my darkness, if my marriage is not working out, if I'm focusing on all the things that I don't want, do you think I'm going to sit down and be like, oh, I really want to be with Erhard. I really want things to work out. No, I was literally so clouded, you guys, clouded by negativity, clouded by the bad feelings, by my pity party that I was throwing to myself, that I could not figure out what I wanted. And that was the darkest place. So I actually spent a good amount of time just meditating on this, praying about it, and being really, really, really clear about what I wanted. And even though I couldn't figure out like the major things for a while, because I genuinely couldn't tell in my heart what I wanted, I started writing down the things I was sure about. Like I was sure about the fact that I wanted an incredible relationship with my daughter. So I wrote that down as number one. That's really important to me. No matter how many years we look into the future, I want to be an awesome mom and I want to have a great relationship with her. That was my number one priority. Number two at the time that I could think about that I wanted was honestly getting my pro card, because I love bodybuilding. I love competing. It's something that gives me so much life. So I wrote that down. Competing. All right, cool. Third thing, I love skiing. Okay, what do I want out of skiing? And I kept going down on the list. What else do I love? Well, I would really like to start a podcast. Literally, like I had nothing for a podcast back then. So I wrote that down. I want to start a podcast this year. Okay, cool. What else do you want? And although I wasn't sure about what I wanted out of my marriage at that time because I was so clouded, I was able to start with things that I was sure about. And as I started heading towards what I wanted, everything started to make sense and started to get more and more clear. So you have to create a mental motion picture of how you envision this goal or situation that you want to influence. Whenever I set goals and I write down things that I want out of my life, it doesn't matter what the timeline on it is. I make a commitment to write these goals down, these clear visions of what I want every single day. Okay, I have lists. I will write them on Post-it notes and put them on my bathroom mirror. I'm not kidding you. I have also created notes in my phone and then screenshotted it and made it my background, because anytime that I noticed myself drifting back into the negativity or focusing on what I really didn't want, I would have to remind myself, nope, Elise, don't focus on it. Focus on what you want. And you have to understand that when you're focusing on the things that you want, you cannot have a single thought of doubt. Like if I'm focusing on, all right, I'm starting this podcast and this is going to blow up and I'm going to commit to it, I'm not even making it a possibility in my head that the opposite is going to happen. The opposite of what I want does not even exist in my head. So if I start focusing on my marriage working out, if I start focusing on me and Earhart having an amazing relationship, the opposite of that cannot even exist as a possibility in my head. When I launched my personal training business just recently, something I honestly never thought about doing again, I had to kill every single possibility of it not working out or something going wrong. Because if I just allow one little thought to slip in, that can create a storm. And now my subconscious mind can actually attract that into my life, into my business, without me really noticing it. So I'm very aware of the fact that everything I have in my life, I manifested. I manifested the house that I live in. I manifested the car that I drive. I manifested the businesses that I have. I manifested the marriage relationship that I have. I manifested my friends. Literally everything that I have in my life, I manifested. And now you should understand that when I say I manifested it, I focused on it and I trained my reticular activating system to filter only the things that I want in my life. Any possibilities of the opposites of what I wanted, I had to completely kill. And this is what I continue to do. You have to remember that you are what you believe yourself to be. And this is very exciting because it means if you get your thinking correctly aligned, you're practically limitless. So if your inner perception is wrong, then you can easily end up living a life somewhere between mediocre and miserable. So your homework is to make your goals very, very clear, then spend time visualizing your goals and clear your subconscious of whatever fear, mental block, or limitations or wounds that you have. And of course, the last thing, make the rest of your life the best of your life.